The Know Nothing Dude Bro podcast sphere is gotten way the fuck out of hand. We are subjecting the social media public to a lot of moronical ideas from people who don't know their ass from their fucking elbow. Last week, Mehdi Hassan went on this program called Jubilee with a bunch of fascists. Some of them were outright just saying, yes, I'm a fascist. There was one guy, chubby bubby with dimples in his cheeks, who outright said, yeah, I'm a fascist. And then fucking let out a Tucker Carlson-esque, I'm a fascist. Just psycho ass shit. Psycho. And Mehdi Hassan, who thought that he was debating some, quote, far right wingers, did not know that he was actually debating a bunch of fascists. And the argument has come up whether or not this kind of debate is actually useful. I mean, it is certainly interesting to watch, but is this the kind of stuff that we need in the zeitgeist at the moment? Just because it gets clicks doesn't mean that it's good for you. Just because a McDonald's cheeseburger tastes good doesn't mean, and it fills you up for a minute, doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. But when you have a large contingent of these people out there acting as influencers, and you have a very uneducated young public out there who is susceptible to bullshit, it makes for a really bad combination. And Mehdi Hassan, who is a very astute reporter, used to work for MSNBC. He got fired because he was, supportive of Palestinians not dying in Gaza. And he made a point to point that out on MSNBC one too many times, so they fired his ass. He started his own program on YouTube. I suggest you all check it out. It's called Zateo, and there's a lot of really good coverage that he's got going through there. Anyway, here's just a little reminder of what Mehdi was going through. He's talking to this young 20-something dude, bro, hat on backwards, bro, I'm just talking about ideas over here. I mean, I think I'm reinventing the wheel over here, but it's still just like, fascism and stuff, man. But what's wrong with like fascism? I mean, I don't remember anything bad about fascism and things and what have you, so like, why don't you prove to me that fascism is like bad and stuff? Anyway, just a reminder, this is what we're dealing with.
Your question: if you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms just suddenly raise all the wages?
You notice
That's
how you didn't answer what I said. You notice how you believe. It was a complete your ankles all right. You pivoted the hell away from the conversation.
Is that what you? Am I your subject? Okay?
Just to give you a quick refresher, he was saying this young idiot here is saying that as soon as we get rid of all 20, 40, 60 million brown people in this country, when we get rid of them all, we send them back to wherever they came from, then corporate America will start paying us a living wage. They'll start giving us, higher wages. And he legitimately believes that if we get rid of all the brown people, because, hey, that's what Republicans have been saying for such a long time. Donald Trump's been saying it, for the last 10 years when he came down the golden escalator and he said, some of them are good people, I assume, but most of them are rapists and murderers and we got to get rid of them. He thinks that once they're all gone, bosses will suddenly become charitable and start paying Americans a living wage. He truly believes that.
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages and the federal wage if we stop immigration?
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through their presence.
About 1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come...
This is what we're dealing with, folks. I don't like the things that you say. You're smarter than me and you're making good points. Get out. You're brown. Get out. I want higher wages. We got to get rid of the brown people. Get out. I don't want you here because I don't like the bullshit that you're saying. Well, the correct shit that he's saying? Because you're a fucking idiot, son.
Say all this bullshit about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left wing.
He didn't say that.
I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans are lazy.
Yes, you are. You're saying immigrants have to come into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's exactly what you said.
When did I say?
Really?
I strongly believe that this Yahoo right here will not be out in the fields picking strawberries. And he sure as shit is not going to be working in a hotel cleaning up the hotel bathroom. Yeah, man. Mehdi Hassan did not in this entire 2-hour debate that he had with 20 fascists. He did not say one time that Americans are lazy and immigrants are doing jobs that Americans won't do. I'm saying it. There is no fucking way that this college dude, bro, who's 5 minutes away from doing a fucking keg stand, this guy's going to be in a field picking strawberries. There's no fucking way. But for some reason, he's pissed off at Mehdi. I have no idea. Could it be the color of his skin? Nah, that's a stretch.
When did I say it? We're on YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words that came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're going to have to go.
Nice talking to you. You're going to have to go, bro, is what he said as I left to an American citizen. Let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium.
Lovely, isn't it? Lovely. Just a lovely guy. Well, I showed you that because I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Full Send podcast, the Nelk Boys. These two guys, they actually did interview Donald Trump. And by the way, they are famous for doing dumbass pranks on people. That's their claim to fame. They're a couple of dumbass blockhead meatheads that don't know shit from Shinola. And all they do on the internet is prank other people. And, you know, a lot of times it's stuff like, you know, pulling a prank on unsuspecting people and having to run away because some of the shit that they're doing is fucking dastardly. You know, I am really shocked that some of the pranks that they've pulled over the years haven't gotten them shot. Honestly, these are dumbass morons that only care about content. They just want clicks. Anyway, they got the opportunity to interview Benjamin Netanyahu. These guys who can barely tie their own fucking shoes. Take a look at him here. He's got a collared shirt he hasn't figured out how to tuck in. I mean, this is probably the first time they've ever worn a suit. And by the way, when they interviewed Donald Trump, they were wearing sweatpants and sweatshirts, man. They weren't wearing a suit, but they put on a suit for Benjamin Netanyahu. The irony of this, they went to the White House to interview Benjamin Netanyahu. And let's put it this way. Benjamin Netanyahu would never have an interview with me. He would never have an interview with Sam Cedar on Majority Report. He would never have an interview with any place that he did not feel like he could control the conversation. But a couple of morons get the opportunity to have a conversation with modern day Hitler, and they're like, yeah, why would we pass up that opportunity? Are we going to do any research about it? No, we don't know nothing. We're dumbasses. They literally say that. Here, watch this.
I see so much stuff about, what's you know, what's going on in Israel and, you know, Iran and Palestine. And to be honest, I just really don't know what is going on there. So it's going to be.
That's probably the reason why Netanyahu picked him. And by the way, this is Dunning-Kruger in full effect. The dumber you are, the more you think you fucking know. Or the dumber you are, the more that you think, I don't need to know anything. These guys did not do any fucking research before they interviewed, this war criminal. A fucking war criminal. But yeah, man, we're not going to pass up the opportunity. We're going to get some clicks on our fucking YouTube channel. Duh, 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 duh.
Interesting to sit down with Prime Minister Netanyahu and kind of just ask him some questions about what we read online and
get educated.
Probably going to be a lot of.
We're going to get educated. We're going to ask the war criminal, what's his side of the story? That sounds like a great idea. We're not going to do any research. We're not going to learn anything. We're not going to ask him any hard questions. In this fucking debate, I'm not going to get to it. I'm just going to show you the first couple of minutes here. But it's not a debate, in this conversation they're having with modern day Adolf Hitler here, they ask him what his cheeseburger preference is, McDonald's or Burger King. The hard-hitting stuff. When I say that this dude bro centric shit on YouTube, it's just the inshitification of content. This is what I'm talking about.
A lot of hate in the comments and stuff like that. In my opinion, I mean, dude,
we're journalists, right?
We're technically journalists.
How can you pass up this opportunity at the end of the day?
No, and plus, at the end of the day, it's like we get the opportunity to sit down with one of the most powerful people in the world, a world leader.
Yeah.
And we get to ask him some stuff, and we're gonna ask him what we want to ask him too. So if you guys, want to hear shit, whatever questions you guys want to hear, there's probably a ton of other interviews of him on CNN or typical news stuff. We're gonna ask him what we want to ask him. So to me, this is crazy. Like how far we've come, and we're getting to sit down with world leaders.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane. So
I mean, for any back.
Like I said, the only reason why he is sitting down with these dumbasses is because they are dumbasses and they're not going to ask him any questions and they don't know anything. They're literally saying to them out loud, we don't know anything, but we're going to sit down with a genocidal world leader and just let him have the floor to just spill his propaganda to all the 14-year-olds who are watching our program right now. We got a whole bunch of kids that love to watch our show, and they want to know what Bibi Netanyahu's burger preference is.
Gosh, this is just an opportunity, again, you can't really pass up.
Yes, you can.
There's no one else doing this.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll sit down with any world leader in the world.
I agree.
I mean, my dream guest is Kim Jong-un.
Both
Kim
of ours.
Jong-un, if you're watching this.
This is kind of like
to
that.
come to.
My God. Kim Jong-un. I beg you. Both of you, go to North Korea. Please interview the guy. Let me know what the jails are like.
Korea and interview you.
All I can think about is the interview when we're doing.
I'm so down to pull up to Moscow and interview Putin too.
Yeah, we'll do everybody.
This is what sets off podcasts. You could put a small microphone here, but no, you have to see this thing, right?
Yeah. Prime Minister Netanyahu with us today. We're here in the Blair House.
Yep.
Right? Is this the White House grounds?
Close. It's the sort of the official guest house of the United States.
How have you seen like the White House and stuff? Like how has it evolved over the years, over the times of you visiting it?
I've met quite a few of the American presidents because I've been in office.
For 1,000 years, this asshole's been running our fucking government from Israel, this douchebag here. Yeah, please sit down with the Nelk Boys. What the fuck are we doing? What is this shit? As much shit as I give the mainstream media for doing softball interviews with IDF soldiers and Israeli representatives over the Gazan genocide, if Christina Amanpour was interviewing Netanyahu, which, by the way, he would never sit down with her because she would actually ask him questions. You're starving children. Explain yourself and have an actual follow-up question for the lie that he just told. You think these boys have a follow-up question? Seriously? So as much shit as I give mainstream media for their softball interviews of some of the worst world leaders, this is not just one step down. This is 10 steps down. What the fuck are we doing?
Pretty long time. Not because we don't have elections, but because I've won quite a few of them. Okay, I think there's never been a friend like Donald Trump in the White House for Israel.
Oh, he's not a dumbass, man. He's immediately going to glaze up Donald Trump while he's on this thing. He is just going to lick them balls, boy. Netanyahu knows exactly what he's doing.
I think he's a remarkable leader. I think he's changing history. He said he'll make America great again. He's already done it. You know, America is widely admired now around the world.
No, it's not.
And especially after our joint operation against this regime that wanted to, chants death to America, death to Israel. Well,
who is saying death to America, death to Israel? Jesus Christ, man. What are you talking about?
I think together we've shown the world a different face of America. Very powerful, very directed.
Yeah, when Donald Trump, at the end of his first term, gave the Golan Heights, which is Syrian territory, to Netanyahu, he made a village in that Golan Heights area, and he named it Trumpville. This guy knows how to play Donald Trump. He absolutely does. Look, we could go through this whole thing, and I could just pick this goddamn thing apart, for everything it's fucking worth. But the fact that we have these podcast bros interviewing some of the most horrible people on earth. I mean, you saw it. You saw it in 2024. Donald Trump hit up Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, glazed him up and, gave him a fucking shiatsu massage. Donald Trump lied to his face so many times. I never said lock her up. Meanwhile, Donald Trump said lock her up 1,000 fucking times. Got no pushback from Joe Rogan. He lied to him so many times, and Joe Rogan just ate it up. Just, yes, please, Mr. President, give me a big pile of shit and I'll dine on it for you. Oh, would you like me to massage your feet? Would you like me to give you a little handy under the table? Of course I will. He went on Andrew Schultz. They glazed him up too. Every last one of these guys, every last one of them, they had on some of the worst people, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's J.D. Vance, and they just gave them softball interviews. And that's the reason why they went on there. And I am not saying that that's what swayed the election. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden being as old as he was, Kamala Harris only having 100 days and then turning into a very mediocre candidate. She had like a week or two worth of inspiration, and everybody seemed to be like, oh my God, thank God we got rid of Joe Biden. Now we got Kamala Harris, and she's going to lead us into the promised land and make sure that Donald Trump doesn't win, because Joe Biden would have lost, by 20 fucking points because he could not tie his own goddamn shoes. But we had Kamala Harris for like 2 weeks, and she seemed very inspirational, and she had Tim Walz there, and they were talking about the Republicans are weird and J.D. Vance is having sex with couches and shit. And it was going so great. It was looking good. But, of course, Kamala just turned into very milquetoast. She got on The View. She was asked a question, how would you be different than Joe Biden? And she goes, I don't think I'd be really any different than Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was very unpopular. He was obviously unpopular with Republicans, but with all the shit that had been happening in Gaza and the fact that both he and her came out with the most right-wing conservative sop to immigration, like, oh, you're going to be hard on immigrants. We're going to be hard on immigrants too. They have absolutely no policy prescriptions for immigration in this country. They were just trying to top Republicans. You're not going to out-Republican a fucking Republican. So Kamala Harris lost that election, not just because of Joe Biden, but also because she could not differentiate herself. Hell, remember when the DNC and they had that one opportunity to bring out the Palestinian representative, I believe she was from Georgia, and she was going to go out there and give a very vanilla statement. She couldn't even give the Democratic base that. She lost that fucking election to the worst motherfucker on the planet, Donald Trump. Well, second worst, next to this guy right here. But the fascists are out there. They are ready to spread their propaganda on whatever outlet they can find, whether it's on a Dude Bro podcast or whether it's on Jubilee. Oh, and by the way, it's also mainstream media. This right here is a comedian, a funny guy. He's a funny guy, man. His name is Greg Gutfeld. Gutfeld. And it saddens me to say, but all of the late night guys, because he does a late night program on Fox News, and it is very successful. I've got a family member that watches it on the regular, thinks it's funny as hell. This guy right here. Now, he's on a daytime show at the moment. I believe he's on the 5. But he thinks he's a funny guy. Let's listen to his comedy stylings. This is Greg Gutfeld. Like how black people, reclaim the N-word, to say amongst themselves, to take back that power. He thinks that calling himself and his friends Nazis is the same thing.
The criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis. Is Nazi this, Nazi that. I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way
The blacks. I love the way he hits that CK at the end of that. I bet you in private he uses that hard R at the end of the N-word, if you know what I mean.
able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi? Oh my hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there.
That's just hilarious. That's funny stuff, man. I mean, that's comedy gold. Just like Elon Musk said, they brought comedy back. Comedy's legal again, okay? Comedy's legal. What's up, my Nazi? Chainsaw. The in-shitification of the media it's here. It's absolute dog shit. I remember when they said that independent media is going to, not only is going to take over and replace the mainstream media, but it's going to do it for the better. Honestly, let's go back to Kristen Amanpour. I'd much rather listen to fucking Wolf Blitzer drone through his oatmeal than listen to the Nelk Boys or the fascist on Jubilee or Greg fucking Gutfeld. The Discord has gone down the fucking drain. We are populated with either disingenuous lying assholes or epic fucking morons. Now, wanted to before I get off of here, I just want to show you this one thing before I go. This did make me feel a little bit better about this. I go through the comments of this, and there's a lot. 11,000 comments. This was pitched to Netanyahu like this. Don't worry, these guys are idiots. You can use their platform to push whatever propaganda you want, and they won't push back on anything. I miss when YouTube used to show dislikes. Yeah, seriously, I do too. They got ratioed to fuck. You guys didn't question him once. This is crazy. These comments made me restore faith in humanity. Yeah, me too. Unsubscribed. Reputation takes years to build, you and just seconds to ruin. Look at all these comments. I'm glad we're all on the same page. We interviewed the world's craziest serial killer and just totally chilled with him, bro. Yeah, it's like sitting down with Charles fucking Manson, and going, hey, man, so, what kind of fries do you like? You know, I'm a big fan of the curly fry. Are you a waffle fry guy, Chuck? He used these guys because he knew that they were in over their head, just another evil, pathetic tactic by our great ally. If anyone is wondering, this video has 23K likes and 70K dislikes right now. Sold out so hard. I remember when you guys had 40K subs and were doing pranks, but now you're interviewing war criminals. I mean, I could scroll down to the bottom of this and still get the same shit. Why isn't he arrested? And just like that, Nelk has destroyed his reputation. It's been a great run, gentlemen. I'm sure I've been following you for 10 plus years. Thanks for the memories, but I think it's time that we parted ways. So anyway, at least they got ratioed, to shit. It's funny, they went on after this and they got hammered so hard in the comments. They went on to talk to Hassan Piker to ask, going, hey man, what's up? We interviewed Netanyahu and everybody's like mad at us and things, man. What's going on? What's that all about? And Hassan is like, dude, you just interviewed Netanyahu at the very beginning of your video. You were like, we don't know shit. We don't know why we're interviewing him. But we're just, when we get the opportunity, we're going to do it. And then he's like, would you interview Adolf Hitler? And he's like, well, yeah, man. I mean, it's content, so why not? They literally don't understand. Hassan was trying to give them every reason to not do this interview. Of course, after the fact, they'd already done it. He's like, if you'd have asked me before you did the interview, I would have probably advised you against it. But you kind of made this bed. Now you got to lie in it. Anyway, it is time for the majority of us to stop watching these guys. It's like the Jerry Springer-fication of politics. Back then it was like watching a train wreck, watching families fight, or who's the father, and then it morphed into reality TV, which, by the way, gave us Donald Trump. It is time for us to stop thinking that the train wreck of idiots bashing their heads into one another, it's time for us to stop thinking that that's actual entertainment. There's real good art out there. There's real good political discourse out there. There's real good music out there. But they make it really hard to find. But they make this slop tube. They make it so readily available. And if it's getting clicks, it's generating any kind of comments, good or bad, it will get funneled through the algorithm, and more teenagers will watch this shit and think that this is normal. That prankster Nelk Boys from the Full Send podcast are sitting down with modern day Adolf fucking Hitler. And it's okay. This is fine. This is normal. Well, I'm here to tell you this is not fucking normal. And we need to start cleansing our brains from this shit. It's one thing to watch the Kardashians, pump silicone into their asses and have family arguments and, soap opera like drama. This shit, this is not good. It's not good for discourse. It's not good for the health of the American psyche to have morons interviewing world leaders and letting them spread their propaganda without any fucking pushback. It's unconscionable. And the only way that I know that we can affect any change with that is to stop fucking watching it. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.